Welcome to Drinks Coach. Today, a little different one. I think you've seen these drinks on my show before. This is a new tequila. This is Vivier Tequila. That's coming out quite green. It's more of a jade, I think, in real life there. And also, update, hot off the press, a new product from said Vivier. And that's Vivier Cafe Liqueur. It's a bit sort of damp at the moment. There we go. Why am I showing you these two? Well, over the lockdown, I became aware of this brand new tequila brand. First time I saw it, in fact, was going to a Class magazine, the premier bartender magazine in print in the UK, when they did their top 50 bars of the world. They actually had a stand there and they were showing this tequila, and we had the most foremost experts in bartending in England and further afield than that. The world famous Dale DeGroff from the Waldorf Astoria in New York was even there. And people were going, well, who's that? What's that? And turns out it's a very, very, very nice tequila. And there's an interesting story behind it. Paul and Nav, who created it, they were great buddies, used to work out together. I think it's probably best if you hear it from them. So I actually went to a pop-up they organised in Soho recently for the trade, and I asked them what it was all about. And I'll come back at the end and we'll taste the coffee together. See you in a sec. So I'm here with the founders of Vivier Tequila. I want to ask them a few questions. Navin and Paul, did you guys know each other before the tequila project, by the way? Do you come together through it?
Yeah, we knew each other beforehand. So, we've worked together before in the past in a completely non-related industry.
Just around the corner from here.
Yeah, just around the corner.
We're near Compton Street. What is this? So were you in finance before, or?
No, we're in the digital sector.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got a bit of a background in that. I actually own a sustainability business as well on the side that works with public transport. Completely different, but it's something like. When we say we're in sustainability, we actually genuinely are.
No, and I think that's really where we start this conversation, because I had a chat with you briefly on Zoom about 2 years ago with I think the PR company at the time, and this didn't start off as a booze sub project, did it? How did this come to happen and come to pass?
So as I say, like Nav and I, we worked together. That's how we knew each other. But we had a mutual love for tequila as well, which one of the reasons we were friends. That and we went to the gym together pretty much every lunchtime.
So the tequila love happened before the Birch Muesli thing and everything else.
Way cool. Before that. Yeah, so. We were relatively new, as you know, as tequila. We launched in 2019, middle of 2019.
Perfect timing, by the way.
Awesome timing, yeah. Well, actually, it turned out to be a pretty good time for us. You never would have known it. But the whole story started a long time before that, so about 17 years ago or so now. I founded a food company. I was one of the first guys to bring Birch Muesli to the UK. Which now,
despite my non-athletic figure, is something dear to my heart, by the way.
Amazing.
I spent 4 weeks in the Austrian Alps in the Tyrol every year, walking, in summer walking, and that's the reason why I look like this, because it's been 2 years not walking.
Right.
I think I put on 15 to 20 kilos, which clearly I can wear. I'm 6 foot.
Right?
Yeah, but I think 6 weeks in the Alps next year might just kind of do it. But But Birch Muesli is our morning ritual.
Okay,
so,
that's how I got into it. So I'm a big snowboarder, and being in the Alps quite a lot, I used to make Birch Muesli all the time. So I kind of brought it back to the UK, and before I knew it, I was supplying like 400 people a day in my office. Then local coffee shops. Then when I was listing with, I think it was Waitrose first, I can't remember. And then it became a business which I built and sold.
By the way, ex wine buyer at Waitrose.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
So
big
props
up to Waitrose.
Props
we do love Waitrose here. They're a big supporter.
Well, John's buying your product now.
John's an absolute legend. He's been a big help to us.
No, he's great.
But through that whole process, so going back to the sustainability side of everything, like I really care about sustainability and locally sourcing as much as possible, as does Nav. And even back in the day, like 16 years ago, it sounds really logical now, all this stuff, right? But back then, actually, it wasn't. Like, and it was actually really hard to do all of this type of stuff. And sugar wasn't the evil thing it was back then.
No.
But I wouldn't use it. I'm a bit of a fitness freak as well. So I said, no, don't care about the fat. We'll put that in full fat yogurt, but we're not using
the refined sugars, the white death.
Exactly.
It's one of the few rules you don't cross, right?
That's it. So we're not using it. And it got recommended to us to use agave syrup. But at the time, I knew nothing about agave at all.
Who did?
Yeah, exactly. Especially it didn't grow in the UK or anything, and definitely not that tequila came from it. But me being me and caring about locally sourced and everything, I very quickly learned I had to go to Mexico basically to start buying it. So that's what I did. Jumped on a plane, went over to Mexico, and I actually through the whole process became one of the first guys I think to import bulk agave syrup into the UK to use in product, in food product. But it was through that process that I fell in love with tequila, because you can't work with distilleries and not drink your body weight in tequila every single time you go there, right?
Very difficult. I mean, it's just in jugs everywhere, isn't it? It's everywhere.
It's like
That's
water
it.
out there.
Yeah.
Well, funny you should say that, right? So I'm in this sort of weird scenario where a lot of the cheaper tequilas out there, especially like majority of tequilas in the UK, and some expensive brands well actually, literally the one thing in the world that I'm allergic to. So I didn't drink tequila back then at all, didn't know anything about it. All I knew is that I couldn't touch the stuff.
So we're talking reputable brands here.
There's a lot of good brands out there, but some brands that you'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
And it's a kind of long story, but it's actually underage agave sugars that I'm allergic to.
Okay.
So some tequilas are made through a diffuser process, which instead of cooking your agave, basically you essentially fire it with hydrochloric acid, acid hydrolysis.
Okay.
You actually chemically convert starch.
Yeah, you're still
into sugar.
cooking it, but you're doing it through
Exactly.
acidolysis.
But you can process much younger agave. So, I've seen it from literally like 2 to 3 years of age being processed, whereas we wait for full maturity for 9 years, which makes a huge difference. But I didn't realise all this at the time, right? I just thought, tequila, I'm allergic to, can't drink it. But it was literally at a meeting. And in all fairness, right, it was like, to me, it was like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or whatever it was in the morning. And there was a bottle of what I thought was water, hence why they drink tequila like water, on the table. Yep, I poured it. I was doing a thing like this. I was actually talking about Bircher, like
Got mouth, bit parched,
get quite
stressed.
excited. Yeah. I just poured it out, downed it, what I thought was water, and you know it takes your brain a second to work out what you just drunk. And I was like, that's definitely not water.
We all know that experience. You know, I've been maybe done an event in a 5-star hotel somewhere. There's been an awards dinner. You go to sleep, you put your dinner jacket up, and you wake up this morning. Oh, I had the foresight to put a glass of water next to the and it's a warm triple gin and tonic.
And yeah, I panicked immediately. I'm allergic to this stuff. And then, but I was fine, no problem at all. And actually really liked it. And then I stumbled into tequila because of it, and it became my drink ever since then. But like me being me as well, I quite like. I'm an engineer by trade. That's what I did at university, manufacturing. So I kind of care about stuff and understanding how it and why it works. So although as an agave side, I got really into tequila and how you produce it, why you produce it, the heritage, the history, all of that.
Absolutely, I'm very similar-minded in that way. I mean, I studied aeronautical and then material sciences and engineering at Salford.
Oh, amazing.
Then turned into a chemistry degree at Manchester, and then did a postgraduate winemaking degree in Bordeaux.
Yeah.
So it was always about it's the inquisitive mind, isn't it? I need to know exactly how something works before I won't get in a car unless I know.
Yeah.
In your head, you see everything moving.
That's it. Exactly,
and that's what I mean. All good things come from people that think that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the building blocks of how it's all put together.
Yeah, it's the romantic kind of ignorance is bliss doesn't work for us. We need to know exactly what's going on.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how the interest initially started with tequila, and then sort of fast forward to, because of the pandemic, we just lost 2 years. What's like 5 or 6 years ago now? Maybe a bit longer than that.
Yeah, it feels like yesterday, right?
It really does. Yeah, it really does.
Especially when you're around this area.
Well, so we launched. It was 3 years prior. It was 3 years of development of our tequilas. So it was always been 3 years, but no, we lost us 2 years. I remember it's not 3 years. No, it's actually 5 or 6 years ago this happened. And Nav and I were basically in the bar and chatting about tequila like we quite often do, and we got to the point where like, let's get some in, right? And we look behind, saw the brands I know I can't drink. Just like, here we go again, right? Unless you're in a good cocktail bar or reputable like Taqueria or something like that, actually getting good tequila.
Cafe Pacifico again.
Exactly. Those guys are awesome.
They're just incredible.
Props to them. Props to Archo as well. I love Archo. The tequila brand, they're just awesome.
Shout out to the late Thomas Estes.
Yes, indeed, massive so.
Yeah.
You start to beg the questions like, why is this all the case? Unless you go into places like that, right? Getting good tequila's not that simple. It really isn't, especially when you're outside of London as well. Because I'm from the north originally of the Wirral, and getting good tequila there was quite hard. And I'm quite fortunate with both connected in the industry because of my background, and I've worked with a lot of big restaurant groups and things before, hotel groups. And we just kept doing the same thing time and time again. It's just like, we all love tequila, it's amazing, but like, as a category, it just gets no support, right? Like, it's not like gin or rum where there's brands.
It's just, there's no, the brands that are big enough to support it's all internal funding.
Yeah.
There's no generic body. the third party thing doesn't work. So small people are always handicapped in this industry, particularly with something like tequila, where it's always a small batch.
Yeah.
It's an absolute nightmare.
That's it, exactly.
You go, I've got a small, very, very high quality tequila brand. Can I put it in your bar and let me try it out? So, well, give me 10 cases free, and you're in.
Yeah,
That's my weak stock. I can't do that.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the reality as well, in a lot of those bars, even then, it doesn't matter how good it is or how expensive it is, even or how well made. It still just seems a shot to 99.9%.
Yeah, so we just
have
had education over here of like how it's supposed to be drunk and understanding how it actually comes about as well, tequila.
That's it, exactly. So that's what we said to people. It's like, well, actually, if we became that, we could say a British brand of tequila, we still obviously make everything in Mexico and do all of that, but we're based on the ground. We said we're based on the ground of the UK, and we're not just guys that we're going to go out and get a white label thing. Like we sort of lived and breathed it. We knew what we were talking about.
And you've been out there with the boys. You've seen the syrup coming out.
But that's it, exactly. So we were like, if we came in, we did that support work behind an actual brand that we created. We created the liquid from scratch, and we delivered something that we knew that we liked and that we think the UK would like. Is that of interest to you? And literally bars, and they like just bit our hands off straight away because tequila's all well. In agave spirits is the bartender favourite anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they were just like, if you guys could come and do that, epic.
It's fantastic.
It'll kick off, and that's basically what we did.
And I think it is. And I think the more people drink, I mean, even if what I think about premium tequila is that people drink a Tommy's or they'll drink a Paloma or they'll drink a Diablo, they'll drink something, and then they'll go, can I just have a shot of that on its own? If it's good enough, it sings through those drinks. I think signature serves with tequila do as much credit to tequila as an old fashioned does to a bourbon. I mean, the Tommy's is just one of my favourite things in the universe because you can't hide the goodness of the drinking side. And I think that with a product as good as yours, it will sell itself. It is the Pepsi challenge at the end of the day, and there's not a vast difference in price between ordinary premium tequila and what you're doing. So it's minuscule. I mean, you're still cheaper than Plata or Herradura. You're still cheaper than a bit apart from. I don't know. I mean, there's more politics on your side than on mine. But I don't drink El Jimador for some reason. Tequila gives me a headache. Everything else gives me no headache, but complete amnesia, which is a double win for us. I mean, I'll even drink Olmeca Altos if necessary. Pink Chihuahua down the road to probably drink that. Body weight of that. The Happy Meal, which is a shot of, it used to be El Tesoro, Reposado, Sangrita, bottle of Claro, and that was. I said, "Can I have the Happy Meal, please?" I love that bar. Fantastic. Anyway, so here we are in this wonderful pop-up. I'm afraid, guys, watching this, we can tell you where it is, but by the time this goes out, it won't be here anymore. So, but we're in this amazing site next to my Soho local, which is the Lyric next door, which is where I believe. Muse and Blur founded themselves. It's got a lot of music culture there. We're here in the thick of it in Soho, opposite one of the largest strip clubs in Britain. We're in this. What are you calling this? You're calling it a tequila jungle, right?
A margarita jungle.
Yes. Margarita jungle. Yesterday, I believe, was officially International Margarita Day. And I don't like doing things on the day because everyone's doing it on the day. I can't compete with their numbers, so I always do it a day after, or a day before. So this is what I'm doing. So explain what you're doing here. Explain what concept you came up with for the.
So it's a fantastic team actually who are sort of hiding behind the cameras. Siri and Emily. It's all thanks to them really. Yes. They put all this together. It's their wild imagination. So you're right. We wanted to celebrate margaritas. National Margarita Day, and then we call it Margarita Week now, I guess. And we bring those Margarita months.
It's definitely Margarita afternoon. I'm telling you that straight. So
do it. And I mean, through lockdown as well, we saw like growth in tequila, unbelievable growth in tequila, but specifically around that margarita. So I don't know what it was before. It wasn't even top 10, but now it's like the most Googled cocktail globally.
Oh, fantastic!
Right? It's just phenomenal, and we get inundated with not just like classic or Tommy's recipes now, but actually, can we do other stuff? Give us some of the margarita recipes. So the amazing team just thought, do you know what, we could do something with this, like let's have a bit of fun with it, let's do a margarita pop-up in the heart of Soho.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
We partnered with Natural Bar Company as well, who have helped us out with all of this, but then also the...
Hello Natural Bar Company.
Yeah, there they are, working hard.
Quality serves, I should try them all before I go.
Doing full prep behind the bar,
absolutely.
They're committed. So they came up with the whole recipe, which you probably can't see on there.
Yeah, let's have a look.
So that's the menu.
If I hold that close enough, I know we'll be able to see it. So now pause the camera. That's it. Pause your laptop. Awesome drinks. Okay, right. There we go.
They're all on our Instagram anyway. Yeah, they came with a whole menu based on from the classic to different variations of margarita, using a whole range of Blanco, Reposado, and Anejo, but then also our new coffee as well, coffee liqueur.
Which I'm very excited about. We will have a conversation about that before this conversation ends.
No worries.
So we have here, obviously, we've got your Blanco, your Reposado, your Añejo, the new coffee. Tell me, what was interesting, on the Uber, on the way over here from Wandsworth, I looked at your video that you put up on YouTube of your distillery.
Yes.
And I've never seen such a clean tequila distillery. I think it was anathema to me. It looks like a proper lab. It's so clean and amazing. So tell me about these guys, because I was unaware of them until you guys partnered up with them.
Yeah, sure. Casa Maestri, we've worked with them for a while, and not just in tequila either, but it's before that, so the relationship goes back quite a while.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a few distilleries in the past, and it was about us finding the right partner, right, to work with to actually produce the tequila that we wanted to produce. So this was really, really important to us as well. So, I mean, first of all, they sort of ticked all our boxes. They're still family run, fifth generation now, I think.
Yeah.
But the stuff they go through as well, like their values really align with what we believe in.
Yeah.
Cool. So they're very sustainable,
Exactly
sustainable.
that. And even when it comes to like production methods as well, there's no cutting corners with anything.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And seeing all their competitors doing it as well.
And I love to see when you see the drone coming into the courtyard. There's this guy with an old axe, chopping the pinions open.
Yeah,
that's lovely.
Yeah,
that's it. Exactly. So first of all, they own their own Highland Weber Blue Agave as well. So it's actually their own. They're based just outside Tequila Town, but about a 4-hour drive away is their fields of Highlands. And we use that exclusively in Vivier, so we only use, we actually invest in it essentially with our distillery, so we have our own agave, if you like. It was close to owning our own.
That's fantastic.
Agave, which is
brilliant. I can't wait for the press trip. Anyway, it sounds amazing, but it looks amazing too. And it looks it's modern, and you can see there was no corners cut, and it's pristine.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So right then, how about style? Okay.
Yes.
Also now, basically, in the day-to-day running operation of things, obviously I see Paul's pretty face coming up on TV from time to time. Why have I not seen you? How do you separate your business concerns in Vivier? I mean, what bits do you do, and what bits does?
I think I mainly cover kind of like everything kind of back office, don't I? In terms
all
of
the hard work.
All the hard work, yeah. How we get the product in the country and everything. But yeah, I mean,
he just buys the Brill cream, job done.
That's it, exactly.
I just go to these bars basically.
Why not? I mean, it's the best place in the world, London Soho, frankly.
No, I mean it works well. I mean, Paul's kind of like very confident in front of the cameras and everything like that. He's impressed so well. You are a natural. No joking. Joking aside, I think when we had that first Zoom chat, it was just you were very self-deprecating, which is always very nice. And I didn't know where that conversation was going to start. English fucking tequila brand, what the hell's going on? And by the end of it, I was totally smitten. And,
thanks, man.
But no, seriously. I mean, there's a reason for this. I'm surprised that people aren't telling me more about Vivier. I'm telling everyone else about it. But it's happening. I think these things are a slow percolation, especially since no one's been able to physically chat with anybody. But when I taste them through, there are some. What I like about it is your style choice. I mean, because with tequila, obviously we have enormous style choice preferences. You can make it one way or the other. There are very expensive tequilas out there which I positively dislike, and I don't mind saying that Casamigos to me. I don't understand it. It tastes half unripe, half overripe. I don't understand. Doesn't seem any precision in the drink, and it costs a ton of money. And then I tasted your rep, which I think is aged in bourbon casks, is it?
That's correct. Yeah.
And it has this incredible kind of like Kentucky popcorn kind of overlay, which makes it very, very appealing, but it really shows off the aged spirit as well. And I can't remember the Añejo I tasted later on, but we'll taste it again in a minute. But before all of this, and when you guys were working out in the gym and then maybe having the odd tipple, which tequilas really blew your trumpet?
Well, going back to what I said earlier, my go-to was always Ocho.
Always.
So I actively hunt out Ocho in bars all the time because, well, one, I knew I could drink it, right?
You knew it was going to be pure. You knew it was going to be
That's it, exactly. And bear in mind, back then, I didn't know a huge amount about tequila. I just knew what I liked and what I could actually drink.
It certainly explains why you've gone for such a bright style. You're not going for a 2-week-old style. You're going for tap on fresh.
That's it.
And I think the tequila blanco should be platinum bright like that.
Yeah. And even as well, we took a lot of, I guess, it's okay. We took a lot of education from the way that they do things, because this is there I started to understand like later on how they produce, why they produce, why it's so good. And it was simple things like owning your own agave, your water source, actually how you cook your agave through traditional methods, that type of stuff, the terroir of the land, all of that sort of stuff became paramount. It became like almost our blueprint for what we wanted to do then. Like you care about, we always say, and I think this reigns true as well. I was speaking to Jesse not too long ago about it, and it's just like you care about each individual element of what you're doing. Like, don't worry too much about the end product now. Just care about every single step through it.
Just one at a time.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah. Which was the same thing you were doing with Birch and Muesli anyway.
Exactly the same.
And I think that, I mean, Jesse, I think it's lovely that he's doing the collabs and stuff. He's with Alexander Gabriel at Plantation.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got a chance to taste. He did a Guyanan rum in a Jesse finish.
Yeah.
One of the most extraordinary drinks I've ever had. I mean, just kind of a. It was a mind warper. Kind of everything just. Sometimes you drink things which look on face of it like I kind of predict I know how that's going to taste, and you drink it and you go, didn't expect that at all.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a new flavour in drink that I've never had before. I don't even have a word for it, and it's there. And they were using Guyana rum, which is a mainland rum, which tends to have quite a lot of lactic components in it. And they saw a certain milky sensation that you get from rep barrels.
Yeah.
And they said these things. I think they did the molecular science on it, and they said these things are going to work. There's a creamy, milky, non-rancid kind of textural component. And I drank it. It was like, you got this pot still rum, and then it's been aged for 6 months or 2 years. I can't remember, 2 years maybe in Ocho barrels. And I'm thinking, there's no way that's going to shine through the potency of the rum and that Demerara hit. And it was just all about tequila. Really? It was just amazing. I know they've done the other way around. I haven't tried that yet, but power to Jesse for doing things like that as well. So, coming on to the last subject, I know this is rambling on. How long have we done? No, this is 20 minutes. I want this to be about 25 minutes longer. We are bitching it, man. Okay, so.
We've done it before.
I've done it before. The biggest news story in this category, pretty much, guys, isn't it? That Bacardi brands bought Patron.
Yeah.
And Patron have a product which, in certain categories, certainly in the UK, certainly in places like Austria and Sweden and stuff, almost their most successful product was their XO, which is, you can't call it a coffee tequila because it's so sweet. You have to call it liqueur. They never call it a liqueur.
Yeah.
It's a flipping liqueur, right?
Yeah.
That's no longer being made, and that's I can't remember what I think it was something like 1.6 million bottles production or something a year. It's giant.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And 1.6 million bottles at 40 quid. That's a lot of profit gone out the window, and who knows why. But the official line is that Bacardi is saying that they want to concentrate on ultra premium, which means that the Platinum Extra is now going to be 400 quid, not 300 quid for a product which doesn't taste as good as these guys. I don't know what they're doing with it, but there is a gaping hole in the market now. What I love is how you've reinvented it. So tell me about Vivier coffee.
Okay, thank you. So firstly, you're right. We're not creating a flavoured tequila here at all. It is a liqueur, and we're proud of it being a liqueur. But it's a tequila liqueur, right? We use our Blanco tequila as the base alcohol.
So good.
Thank you. And we actually developed this a long time ago, right? So we developed this. It took about 2 years, and it was ready like as we were going into lockdown.
Yeah.
But the reality was we didn't bring it to market because we were very fortunate that when lockdown hit, almost immediately our sales just skyrocketed.
Yeah, we just had to focus on the core range really at that time.
Just managing.
And logistically as well, it's just a nightmare getting new product released anyway. I mean, it's bad enough just getting existing stock.
Well, how does it work with supply chain? I mean, if somebody, let's say sales go up by 70% over a 3-month period, then where do you source that? Where agave from? I mean, I know that's a protected species. It's hard to find.
Well, this is where it paid dividends as having our own fields, right? Because we had control over that supply as well, and we couldn't predict what was going to happen. We couldn't predict our growth, but we kind of I guess, sort of limited that risk as much as possible in those early days when we were first doing it. And this was one of the reasons it took us 3 years to develop our core range of tequila to start off with. Yeah. And that's a lot of time, and we have a lot of time to do things behind the scenes to get stuff. But this is where Nav comes into his own, right? From my perspective, the operational side of making sure all that works and we're future-proofing everything, and it paid dividends for us, right? When we got to that, because we were in a strong position.
You have to.
That's it.
Nothing worse than selling a brand and knowing it's going to be changed the moment you sell it.
Yeah. But so the coffee came about, we didn't decide to launch then, and actually when we did launch, it was just pure luck that Patron pulled theirs at the time that and in fact, the day we announced it was the day they announced they were pulling it. So it was just pure,
that's so good.
Literal luck.
And there are a lot of people out there, by the way, there's a lot of people out there trying the game, some very, very poor attempts. There's a moderately good value, cheap alternative with, I think it's at Casabel. The thing I'd like to say is, it's maybe a little bit blaspheming, is that the Patron XO was never all that. Okay, I never I always found it too sweet. And I understand, having spoken to the people when I talked to the PR company that were looking after them around the corner, the concept was that you would buy a shot of coffee, a shot of Patron tequila, and then a shot of XO, and you mix them together, and that would make an espresso martini.
Okay, yeah.
It was third, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Which explains the ginormous amount of sugar that was in the drink, because no stock syrup was required. But it then, by definition, meant that the drink was totally unmixable, apart from making espresso martinis. And for those people who haven't tried it yet, an espresso martini made with tequila tastes better than espresso martini made with vodka. It just does. Tequila and coffee are just incredibly perfect matches. And I understand, and I spoke to B. Bradsell about this, and to Dick before he died, that he won't admit to me that the pharmaceutical stimulant, which then became the espresso martini, was originally made with tequila anyway.
Okay.
The reason for that being is he was signed a contract with Absolute to say it was made with Absolute vanilla, because he got paid £50,000 for it. And the same way that Dale McGrath invented the Cosmopolitan, they came along and said, if you give me £3,000, will you say that you made it for Sex and the City? Yeah, no problem. So that's how it worked. And so the official story is no longer allowed to be said for reasons. But frankly, if you're not making it with tequila, you're making it wrong. Right? Yeah, so,
exactly.
So which is your favourite age expression? I mean, I know that we probably all drink more Blanca than everything else, but...
Yeah, from my perspective, I love a lot of tequilas, obviously. It's like choosing your favourite child, right?
Yeah.
But the Anejo always holds a special place in my heart. I'm a big whiskey guy and a whiskey bourbon guy anyway, and so I love it, and I sip it by itself or just with one cube of ice. But it also is the fact that, we had to. It was the biggest risk to us almost, because we had to wait 1.5 years.
It's magical, yeah, and also then sometimes it just don't turn out right.
Exactly. We didn't know, and it was almost that thing, wasn't it? We first tried it.
It was a worry as well, because obviously we use JD barrels as well, and it was a worry of, well, it's 18 months in a JD barrel. It's just going to come out as
tasting
JD.
This is the first tequila that goes with the Lincoln County process.
That's it. And again, even with the JD thing, so there's a funny story behind the barrels. We actually tried 8 different cask types when we were aging it initially, and JD was the 9th cask that we tried, and I was dead set against using JD initially.
You just figured that a better brand would produce better product, like Heaven Hill brand.
That's it. Exactly. I mean, we even tried.
Because I'm a huge Elijah Craig drinker. That's right. Okay, nice. That's my small batch tequila. I have a bourbon.
That's it. So I was against it, but convinced to try it anyway, and we tried it, and I had to admit in the end, actually aged our tequila is the best. It really, because our agave is fully mature, 9 years, grown in the Highlands, it's that much sweeter anyway. Brix sits at 27, 29.
Right,
which,
okay.
If you know,
that's high.
It's really high, right?
That's high. That would be the same as an Australian Shiraz.
Yeah,
thereabouts.
And then you've got 2 other important factors, which is consistency within a barrel as well, JD, and availability.
yeah, exactly. And also reparations, cooperages on site. They're on top of their game, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Well, it's where you have an ops guy from.
There you go. That's not problem indeed. Anyway, listen,
so that's it. So that's why an Echo for me is.
I don't know if anybody's not drooling yet. I'm not even going to tell you about the drinks. It'll just make you feel upset. Just pause. There's a lagerita here, which so Emma, it's not a beergarita, it's a lagerita. And the walk down to Picante Avenue, I love that more than Eddie Grant.
Yeah.
Electric Avenue. That's well, actually, for those people who want a very, very simple drink, and for those people who might want to go back a few shows, I started doing a show, a series. I've started. I've done part 1. Okay, and it was part 1 of what the fuck's that on the back bar?
Right.
Because people sit there waiting for their drink to be served while the bartender's talking to his girlfriend, whatever. And you go, look at the colour of that. What the hell does that go? No. And so the idea is I'm trying to explain to people what creme de violette goes into, those sort of things.
Yeah.
So people feel more comfortable looking at the back bar, because then maybe it'll strike some inspiration from them.
Yeah.
And this was in line with the fact that I've recently did some work with Chiffar. Liqueurs, who are stunning products. There's only really 3 people in it, but I think consistency-wise, I think Chiffar's probably got the top of the shop.
We're using actually Chiffar's. They're triple sec.
But there you go.
The margaritas.
So when it says walk down to Picante Avenue, I go home, I make a fairly dry Tommy's, and I add 1 shot of Pimont d'Espelette liqueur, which is the French small chili, bullet chili.
Yeah.
And it's an instant chili margarita. It's just the balance works, the flavour of the agave and the pyrazine, the capsicum in the chili.
Yeah.
It's instant. So you just bottle of Vivier, bottle of agave, bottle of Pimont Espelette. That's my shelf now sitting on
Yeah.
So
amazing.
It's a wonderful drink.
Fun twist on that Picante as well. If you want to try it, I just did this by mistake because I went to a Bloody Mary making course.
Awesome!
But I was doing Bloody Maria's obviously with tequila.
Yeah, of course.
And at the end it was like, let's have a bit of fun, right? Like try creating one for yourself.
Yeah.
So I actually made a base for Picante just with a chili, it was red chili, a jalapeno, and then a bit of coriander, and then I made a Bloody Mary on top of it. It's banging. Yeah, it's amazing. It's really good.
I know which drink I'm going to start with. Nav, Paul, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
And I hope this time next year, Rodders, you'll be millionaires. What can I say? It's a treat for my channel to have somebody talking about their brand straight face to face. So
it's an honour to be on it. Thank you very much.
Back to the studio, Joe.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah? Wasn't that fascinating? Wasn't it? Brilliant, isn't it? Fantastic product. Do go out and buy it. The fact that Waitrose is selling their Blanco means that it now has full acceptance across the board. It's delicious, it's clean, it's fruity, has a lovely, refined, not sweet sugar-wise, but sweet ripe-wise, sort of almost cucumber lime quality to it. Yeah. Lovely avocado-y cleanness to it. Taste of grain a little. Very, very fine indeed. So I did say that we'd try this together. This is the one product I hadn't tried until I did the interview with Nav and Paul. So, yes. Going back to the conversation earlier. Patron is no longer here. Beam Global has bought Patron. So-called concentrating on the ultra-premium tequila end. Maybe they may well be. They're already selling some of their tequilas at £300 a bottle, so where will it end? But this is really something special. Proper coffee, as you heard. It's not cold press, which I find to taste a bit tarry and licoricey sometimes. It smells like a really lovely hit of high quality espresso. Just Cafe Illy or other brands are available. Not sweet, perfectly balanced. And it really allows the tequila to come back through. The sugar isn't masking the lovely aftertaste of sort of green waxy flowers, like flower stems. It's got a lovely greenness to it. Yeah, I can imagine big waxy wild flowers. Just delicious. What can I say? My new favourite brand. Go out and buy it. Next time we'll be talking about wine again. So I'll see you next time.